Oh hey, didn't see you there. Just over here decorating my tree, getting ready for the Christmas season. Stay tuned, because the Jersey Ghouls have episode number 3 of a very merry Jersey Ghouls Christmas. Top 5 Scariest Santas. Hey everybody.
What's up?
So tonight we are going to be covering our first top 5 list. Tonight, top 5.
I'm excited.
Scariest Santas. I'm less excited.
You are less excited.
I'm less excited.
I'm excited. So we decided that nothing is creepier than scary Santas. So we decided to start off our top 5 lists with this very, I think, good list of scary Santas. So number 5 on our list is Santa's Sleigh. S-L-A-Y, because you see what they did there. So this 2005 gem is a kind of silly but still fun play on the whole Santa gone wrong, and it's a completely made-up mythology in which Santa he lost a bet, and he's the spawn of Satan and a virgin. And he has lost a bet. Now he has to be nice for 1,000 years. So for 1,000 years prior to 2005, he has given kids presents and done the whole Santa thing. Once, however, his 1,000 years are up, he has a lot of pent-up anger, and he's letting it loose.
He pissed.
And it's pretty funny. It's cheesy. It's hokey, and he's dressed as Santa, obviously. So it's a fun little Christmas treat.
He's got really good one-liners.
He does. A lot of good puns.
There are some interesting kills.
Oh, tons.
I like the present bombs. Are my personal favorite. Just throwing packages.
Yep, like Hobgoblin style.
Yeah.
I love it. So we gave him number 5 because even though it isn't necessarily terrifying, I'm a big fan of anything having to do with Santa and mythology, or
crypto-Santology,
as it were. So yeah, so that's number 5.
That's number 5.
Yeah, you ready to do number 4?
Number 4. Number 4, while not exactly a horror movie and not exactly a Christmas movie,
Can't make up its mind.
Doesn't really know, but it's an all-around great movie. I really don't know anybody that doesn't like this movie. Number 4 is Jack Skellington.
And you know who can't get enough of this movie? Every emo kid ever.
Oh God.
Man, do the emo kids.
Hot Topic would not exist
without Jack Skellington.
So Jack Skellington, I should probably say that he is from A Nightmare Before Christmas, because I didn't such that. I don't think do I even need to mention it though, that Jack Skellington is from A Nightmare Before Christmas?
If you don't know that, why are you watching this blog?
Stop. Go away. Turn it off. Turn it off.
You know, I hear somebody's podcasting about Wheel of Fortune right now. Why don't you go flip over there? I'll wait.
What makes Jack Skellington so great is, first off, his image. Again, we have a skeleton, and in the Tim Burton style, he's tall, thin, very thin limbs. Mm-hmm. One thing that I really find interesting about A Nightmare Before Christmas that I don't know if it's often talked about or brought up, but they're all dead. You know, like it's really not. I mean, this is Halloween. Jack's a skeleton. Yeah. Jack's a skeleton.
He's a skeleton.
He's a skeleton. Jack is a skeleton. Jack's dead. You know, so now you have this
like morbid,
essentially this former human that has rotted away.
Yeah.
Putting on a Santa Claus suit, and of course,
and the whole theme of being a shell of a person is pervasive throughout the whole movie. I mean, that's really the whole point of the movie, is like being this notion of like you becoming a more full human. Yeah.
He thinks he's doing right by Christmas by delivering
kidnapping
children.
Santa.
Yeah, he kidnaps Santa.
He leaves him in the hands of Boogie Oogie Oogie. What's his name? Oogie Boogie?
No, he leaves them with
the 3 twins.
They're not twins. Oogie Boogie is who you're thinking.
Oogie Boogie, yes.
They're the Oogie Boogie boys.
Oh, they're the Oogie Boogie boys.
They're his hoodlums.
Yeah, so if you're gonna hire somebody to kidnap Santa, don't hire the 3 scummiest kids in town. Like, you know, I would have hired the vampires. They seem like cool people. They seemed legit. Nice. Or the witches. They were fun. I would hire the witches.
I dig the witches.
But no, he hires the hoodlums.
Yes.
And they, of course, kidnap Santa and leave him in the hands of Oogie Boogie to be tortured.
And killed.
And yet, like, and this is a children's movie. And Oogie Boogie tortures Santa, who's helplessly like on the board spinning, and it's disturbing. I have to admit, that part of the movie really gets me, creeps me out a little bit. And then when he delivers the presents, and the presents are beyond creepy.
Yeah, he thinks he's doing right by Christmas. He thinks he's doing right by Santa by helping him. I'm giving you a break, and we're going to do this instead. and he terrorizes and frightens the entire, world with, armless dolls and creepy crawlies and
the Jack-in-the-Box that attacks them.
Yeah, you're essentially getting a fucking sandworm from Beetlejuice under your tree.
It was a sandworm.
Yeah, the kids are freaking out. They're calling the cops. They put out the APB
on Santa.
Where is Santa? Santa needs to save us. And, when they shoot him down, he's riding in the sky and they shoot him down. He then realized that,
I jacked all this shit up.
I shouldn't have done this. That actually is probably one of the scariest images of him because he is tattered and burned. And again, it's where the Santa Claus suit
comes in.
Where, it's ill-fitted, it is broken. It's not the clean, crisp, red and white suit that we're used to.
And the Santa that we want to see.
Yeah, you have
and
a skeleton.
how this movie has been a kid's movie for as long as it has dazzles me, because it is truly dark and it's haunting in ways. I remember the first time I saw him as Santa, it being really creepy. Yeah. So we put him on here because even though it is basically a children's movie, I think it's a really effective play on taking two holidays and mushing them together to create this very uncomfortable world. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And to all those emo kids out there who like Jack Skellington's their hero, good for you.
Yeah. Wait, no, I mean. Here we go. Whatever.
So what, who cares? I'm gonna go listen to my Blink 182 album.
I'm gonna listen to The Cure.
Number 3 on our list is Billy Chapman from Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, if you haven't checked this one out, I'm going to let you pause right now and go watch this movie because it is all kinds of jacked up. Go ahead, we'll wait. Okay, so that's fucking batshit crazy. So what happens is this small boy watches his mother and father be brutally murdered by a guy who is dressed in a Santa costume. So he then gets put in an orphanage that's run by a sadistic nurse sadistic nun. Big difference. Because obviously, which orphanage isn't run by a sadistic someone? So he becomes phobically afraid of Santa, understandably so. So then he goes to work as an adult, and the guy he works for makes him dress up as Santa and be Santa for all the kids at the store because he goes to work at a toy store. It doesn't end well.
No.
And I gotta tell you, as a kid, if there was one Christmas movie that probably really traumatized me, it was this one.
Yeah.
Because, man, that kid is creepy. And it's just this clean-cut, cute old teens kid dressed as Santa going around just killing everyone. It's such an 80s slasher, but it's a Christmas 80s slasher done in the most gory and disturbing way ever. And there's so many sexual undertones, and there's so many creepy religious symbols, and all kinds of just disturbing takes and turns of the Christmas norms. And it is just so icky.
I think it also doesn't help that he'll just sit there and repeat naughty.
It's
over and over again.
For everyone. Naughty.
It's one thing to have Santa kill you, but when he's
he's kind mocking you and judging you beforehand.
He's not yelling, he's not being crazy. It's just very calm and
calculated.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty.
And this kid is traumatized and so up from this epically horrible childhood that you still feel for him in spite of all these terrible things he does. And it ends with him passing the crazy torch to his younger brother, who is also in the orphanage, and then there's 25,000 sequels from there. But Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is also a pretty good flick. It's been a while, I'll have to refresh myself, but it's a good one. So Billy makes our list because, man, is this kid jacked up. And it's all because of Christmas. Christmas did this to him, made him the monster he is, and so he takes Santa and he runs with it. So if you were a kid in the late 80s and you happened to stumble upon this one either on TV or at the video store, and for those of you who don't know what a video store is, it was this place where we went to get movies. You couldn't just turn on your TV and be like, show me every movie ever made, and it just does it. No, that's not how we had to work for it as children. So we had to go to the video store and pick out some creepy movie and convince your mom that it's not terrible and scary, and take it home and watch it on your VHS recorder.
Dude, Friday nights at the movie store. When you know what movie you want, and you go there, and the only copy that you want is gone.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can
place it, and you didn't know right away because they would put it behind it, so you'd be like, oh, sweet. And while most young girls might have been out, go to dances and have it in real life, I was at the video store watching things like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's true. We worked at a video store.
That's right. We worked at arguably at the end of the video store phenomenon.
What was it? That was early 2000s. We
That's
worked.
right.
Oh God, do you remember blocking the wall?
Best job.
That I'm gonna tell you right now, blocking the wall.
Yeah.
And inventory was my favorite.
Was my favorite. Me too.
I loved doing inventory.
Honestly, as much as I love being an educator, I would give it up any day of the week if they were like, you can have a video store again.
That would be so badass.
I loved working at a video store. I digress.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back to the
Jersey
real world, right? So Rare Exports is up. You ready?
Number 2 on our Scary Santa list is from Rare Exports, a 2010 film where they're Santas, they're elves, kind of a little.
They're creepy old men.
When we first see the one that is captured, we assume that it is Santa. He.
Like an emaciated, creepy, dark, old,
naked,
super naked, old Santa.
Old Santa.
Yeah.
He's creepy.
Yeah.
There's just nothing about him that looks right. So they've got him, chained up, and he's in dirty clothes, and the imagery is just. It's a very dark film. I mean,
is.
Like it's taking place at night, but
and not in the. It's ironic because it's a dark film, but it's filmed so brightly, which there's so much vibrant color in it. But I think what's fascinating about this one is it's such a slow burn, and it's such a non-traditional. Like so many of the Christmas horror films rely on slasher genre tropes and like play around with like all the imagery. This one just takes the old, Finnish folklore about like Krampus and all that stuff and brings it to the forefront and just plays around with it and creates this like mythical, brand new look at the whole thing. And it's mind-blowingly good, I think, because we sit there and we're like, oh, this is definitely Santa, and then, spoiler alert, it's not.
No,
Santa.
Here come all these others that look
creepy,
exactly like that
white-haired
first Santa. Turns out these are all of the elves, and they're thawing out. They're trying to thaw out
and kidnapping all the children.
They're kidnapping the children. They're trying to thaw out basically the Krampus. I mean, you don't really
he's like
see
a goat-like with the big horns, and the kid studies like the origin of this like Santa beast, this dark side of Santa, and the little kid who's the protagonist is just. I love him, Pietro. I think Pietro. Because I think it's a really interesting look at like masculinity and gender identities, looking at a little boy and what it's meant to be a boy in society. And I think it's such a fun look at like the gender stereotypes that we don't think of because men are the dominant, people, but this little kid gets a lot of slack for being like sensitive and kind of a wuss, and it turns out he becomes the hero and he becomes like this hardcore badass by the end of the film, and it's like a cute daddy son story too. So, but man, are those little Santa elf guys creepy
until they get cleaned up.
Yes.
Until they get cleaned up at the end.
So they blow up the actual devil demonic Santa, and they take all of these elves who are now no longer like brainwashed or possessed, and they train them, it's actually pretty genius, to be mall Santas. So they clean them up and they train them to like hold little kids
and what's it like to have a kid on your lap and giving them gifts.
And these become the exports from this like mining town in Finland. And and again, we should probably go back and like warn people that we're gonna give away all the good details of that film. But again, this film is insanely affecting in its portrayal of like horror Santas. I mean, those guys are creepy.
I like what you said earlier. It's, they're not using, the gore and the violence that Santa's sleigh and Silent Night, Deadly Night use. They don't need it. This is very much in the psychological horror camp.
Yeah.
Because when you think about, especially now knowing the ending, when you think about like, the next time you go to the mall and you see your mall Santa,
totally wigged out, right?
Like you'd be like, "Are you from Finland?
Are you like a possessed demon who was?
Did you worship a
reprogrammed?
Demon Santa?"
And what I love too is that you really see the whole story through the eyes of the young boy, which I think makes you remember your own like naivete. How do you say that?
Naivete.
Naivete. It really makes you think about your own childhood and your own memories of like understanding the lore behind Santa, because I think so many people do have there's this dark, creepiness associated with all of this legend. Like this idea of some guy who comes into your house and leaves presents, and you know, it's all somehow strangely uncomfortable. Getting back to the Santa, what makes it so scary is that he is so weak and fragile and dirty and dingy, but still so powerfully, like, I mean, he messes that one guy. He eats a guy's ear. And they have to like, and the way that he's like bound and gagged, and it's all just so creepy. Definitely check out Rare Exports if you haven't already. It is well worth a watch.
Yeah. So for number 2, if you haven't seen Rare Exports yet, we are going to be talking about the ending.
Massive, yeah.
Fast forward a little bit. We will put a timestamp down below.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that later.
We can put it
on my to-do list. Timestamp down below. Did that seem inappropriate? Because I was, what are you doing? I'm at right here, dirty. Got it.
Timestamp. No.
Okay.
So for number 2, we are going to be talking about the ending of Rare Exports.
Yes.
So if you don't want it spoiled, skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, because it's really worth the watch.
Absolutely.
Straight through before you find out all of this stuff. So our number 1 Scariest Santa is from a more recent film, actually, and it's Krampus from the movie Krampus. I thought I nailed it.
I don't
know why.
I like it.
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm rolling. Krampus. So Krampus, as you probably know, is an Austrian folklore that says that while St. Nicholas brings gifts to the good kids, Krampus will visit the naughty people who have lost the true meaning of Christmas, and he will punish them, as they deserve to be punished, for losing the spirit of the season, which of course is mass consumerism, as we all know.
Of course.
Wait, is that wrong?
What? No.
But so Krampus comes to this family, and what I love about this Krampus isn't even so much he himself, but his super scary bag of tricks. So what makes Krampus so scary? Besides the actual demonic, ghoulish, Santa-looking goat.
Right, well, I was saying, that's
scary
like,
Scary AF.
visually, he is just...
And he's ginormous.
Oh.
And they are so smart in this movie because they take so long to reveal him. Not until the last 10 minutes of the film do you actually see Krampus himself. But throughout the whole movie, instead, you are bombarded with scary imagery of all these things, from demonic gingerbread men to the scariest Jack in the Box. I can't even talk about it. I will have nightmares. And I do this, this is what I do. And I will not talk about that damn Jack in the Box. And then the elves have these theater style masks on where some of them are smiley and some of them are frowny. And it is haunting. They take everything that's good about Christmas, even a cute little teddy bear. And if you want to scare me, possess a toy.
Yeah,
just straight up, it's...
Well, I think one thing with this movie is you take the idea of what we know. When you're good, you get presents.
Rewarded.
When you're bad, you get coal. That's usually the worst.
Yeah, that's
of
like
it.
the American
that's
version
the worst
of
thing.
the worst
you're
thing
gonna
that's going to
get
happen.
some coal if you're bad. But then you flip that on its head. If you're good, you get presents. If you're bad,
you get taken to hell.
Like
or
a
whipped and
big
chained
demonic goat
creature.
Santa is gonna come get you. That's
It's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a little different than coal.
A little bit. A little bit. But this family almost kind of deserves it because they're just so miserable and fighting and cranky and horrible. And then at the end, there's this kind of questionable, but this ambiguous ending that leaves you wondering what their fate really is. And it's haunting. It's scary to see this family who's crumbled under the weight of the holidays. And it has this great opening montage where they play a Christmas song and there's people battling in a Walmart for toys. It's great. But getting back to why that Santa is so scary, it really just lies in the fact that, number one, it's based on very real beliefs that were, kind of cultivated throughout much of Europe and even in early American times. And it's also this idea of just totally corrupting the things that we feel most safe with, like gingerbread.
Yeah, and teddy bears.
And elves. Which, to be fair, even the cute ones creep me out. So thanks for coming by.
Ooh, warms you up.
So good. And remember, ghouls, have a very merry, jolly holiday season. So tune in next time, because we've got a lot of great content coming your way.
We are going to be talking about the Christmas Halloween classic, Black Christmas.
That's right, and that is one of my favorites. I can't wait to dive into that one.
we've got another top 5 list coming your way. The top 5 Christmas movie kills. Merry Christmas, Marissa.
Merry Christmas, Jackie.
Merry Christmas to all.
And to all, a good night.